I'm Matt Verderam here with Maurice Jones-Drew. Maurice, I noticed that you picked the Kansas City Chiefs to be a team that could go to Super Bowl 51 on your NFL Now segment. Although you are a Raiders fan, you played for the Raiders. How painful was that to pick Kansas City to be great in 2016?
You know, I was taught at UCLA to be reasonable and speak with reason and not emotion. And so that's what I try to do. I try to take emotion out of it. The Raiders have a great chance to do it as well. But Kansas City, they really didn't lose anyone. They're bringing guys back. I think Sean Smith missed a bunch of games this year early on. And when he came back, yes, they were able to make that magnificent run where they didn't lose a game until the second round of the playoffs. I think they go corner in this situation, and then they go back to it. You know, if you can get a corner that matches half of what Marcus Peters did, then you'll be fine. Kansas City, they have a running game. They have a quarterback. They're going to add a receiver, another playmaker. You have tight ends. I mean, you get Jamal Charles back. So they're adding pieces. You found Charkandrick West and Spencer Ware. So they're going to add – I mean, they're adding pieces to already what they had. I think that's what makes them special, and I think that's what's going to allow them to make a run. I mean, they're a team that plays solid defense and they don't turn the ball over. That's a very good combination.
You know, that running back group you bring up, Jamal Charles coming back off that torn ACL, and then they got Spencer Ware and Charkandrick West seemingly out of nowhere.
Right.
What did you see as an ex-NFL running back, and a very good one at that, out of those two guys when he stepped in for Charles?
You know, I was actually coached by their running back coach, so I kind of knew what they were going to do. They're a downhill team. Those guys do a great job of staying within the system. You know, they don't I guess, try to make things happen. If you watch Jamal Charles, he didn't make things happen. They kind of allowed it to come to him, and so that's what makes them special. And they got the opportunities. Kansas City's going to run the ball. That's what they want to do, and the more opportunities they got, the better they got. The more reps they got, the better they got. And I think throughout the year, you started to see that. You know, you started to see Charkandrick West just lighting it up every week. You started to see Spencer Ware come in when he went down, light it up. And so I think really what they just found a gold mine. Now I have three backs that I can rotate. So we'll all be fresh. We'll be fresh throughout the whole year. And we're going to be hell for teams because now teams are going to have to, you know, deal with our running game, let alone Alex Smith running when he drops back and Jeremy Maclin taking the top off. So, and then Kelsey as well. So now you've added a more dynamic offense with those two guys and Jamal Charles. I think that's what is going to give them the best chance to be successful.
Now, I want to ask you, your last season in the NFL, you played for the Raiders, you played against this Chiefs team that really isn't all that different, especially on defense. How did you prepare for that defense? What did you look at first and then say, okay, we got to stop this guy, we got to take this guy out of the game and go from there?
Well, it's funny. You know, defenders, they kind of, what Kansas City does, they play towards personnel. And so depending on who they want to stop, that's what they'll do. And so sometimes, like when I was in the game, they'd load the box. It'd be crazy, right? Then I'd be out, then D-Mac would in, then they'd load the box, right? He'd come out and they put someone else in, and it'd be like a soft shell. So they do a great job of that. But their defensive line, I think, is the key. You know, hopefully Houston comes back. But D Ford did well when he was out. Obviously, you have Tamba back. That D-line with Poe and the rest of those guys. I mean, those guys dominate offensive linemen. And so when you can get to the quarterback rushing 4, rushing 5, it makes it easier on your DBs. And they know the ball has to come out quick. So that was one thing when you played them. We had to make sure we stopped the D-line. We had to give Carr time to throw the ball. And it was hard for us to do that.
Last question. You said the Chiefs, you think they'll go corner in the first round. Is there a guy maybe that you see that you'd say he'd be a great fit for Bob Sutton's defense?
William Jackson III, I think, is a ball-hawking guy. He's one of the guys that I like. I think, you know, obviously when you're that far down, you kind of have to wait to see who falls to you. But that kid can play, man. He's a big, long corner, isn't afraid to tackle. Puts his nose in there, always around the ball, strips the ball away. And when he does get picks, he takes them to the house. So, I mean, that's a guy that you want. That to me is a player that he understands route concepts. You see that on tape. He gambles. You know, and sometimes he's wrong, but he jumps balls. And if he can do that, I think he'll be fine. So for me, I think if they either go corner or defensive line, they'll be fine. Maybe offensive lineman, but I think they'll go defense because they know that's how they're going to be able to win.
All right, hey, Maurice Jones-Drew, thanks a lot.
No problem, thank you.
Thanks a lot.